Really?
Vocabulary as an alternative to the idea of supernatural. Supernatural. Keep watching to learn more.
What? Book 3 in the New Thinking Aloud.
Never.
The way, if we go back to the roots of, ironically, and the like, and the term paranormal seemed to suggest that.
Don't forget Abbie normal. Abbie normal. Don't you feel a little bit Abbie normal? It's a little less than paranormal, but it's also supernatural.
No, we're not talking about any of that stuff. We're just talking about something that is very unusual. It can be explained by natural laws, but it's so rare that we'll call it paranormal instead. Unfortunately, that strategy didn't work too well with the skeptics who want to have none of it. And in fact, let me be clear, I'm not talking about real skeptics. We're talking about people who are better identified as scoffers. But these people who call themselves skeptics and are not real skeptics, because a real skeptic is first and foremost in the philosophical tradition of skepticism, skeptical of themselves. But people these days who call themselves skeptics, and I'm talking about the ones who are scoffers of the paranormal, are very sure of themselves. The last thing they want to be skeptical of is their own strong opinion that anything labeled as paranormal can easily be explained away. If we go back to the roots of the problem, we have to go back at least to biblical times, because there are injunctions in the book of Leviticus very specifically against consorting with spirits or being a soothsayer or practicing divination, and these practices were considered punishable by death by stoning.
Did he say getting stoned? Punishment by being stoned. For what? Thou shalt not. You've eaten pork, haven't you? Yes, I had a bacon hamburger from the Jack in the Box. You had the pork? Yes, I'm not Levitically clean. I've had the pork. Loved it. Your punishment is to be stoned to death. Can I be stoned to high? What's the difference?
And the great irony is that the purpose of these biblical injunctions, well, it's not entirely clear, but they largely occur in the book of Leviticus, along with the same laws that prohibit eating pork or eating shellfish or mixing milk with meat. Of course, in the Christian world, none of these laws are obeyed. And in the book of Leviticus, as many people now know, there are also prohibitions against homosexuality. There are scholars who argue that the various prohibitions in the book of Leviticus have two different origins. One of these origins is simply to distinguish the Jewish people from the other neighboring religions, the Canaanites, the Amalekites, the Hittites, etc., in the neighborhood, and their practices of cultural identity, the laws that are true for all time, like cheating and stealing and etc., and murder. The question that people have had to deal with is, are we to throw out the laws against soothsaying and consorting with spirits and divination the same way we threw out the laws concerning the dietary regime, which are also considered abominations in the eyes of the Lord?
Abomination.
And the truth is that in Western culture, although, and by which I mean Christian culture, although the dietary laws were abandoned, the persecution of witchcraft continued.
Final act. Hold on, this is the final act. We've got to go outside because it's a full moon tonight. It's a full moon tonight. And I have my RC and I have to get my moon pie. It has to be the actual moon. I I'll leave it dark to go. Let's see. It was bright last night because it was beaming through my window. I can't see shit. Wait, there it is. See, if you will look, you will see the full moon is coming up through these here trees. Excellent. Excellent. Blessed. It's going along with my plans. My plans. I have no plans. My tool. Look at my tool. And my moon pie. More RC. How fortuitous. It is fortuitous. I didn't know anything about the moon pies. Now I will share with you Burn the Witch. But let's get off the bullshit, though. Those of us that came from Europe in a later age, who were not murdering witches over here in Salem, looking at you, Massachusetts. I'm looking at you, Massachusetts colony. See, we can't forget, we didn't have, not everybody had to do with that. That was those Quaker-ass, Mayflower-like pilgrim people doing that. And I don't have no part of it. But I will take on the crazy on you for the assist for the greater awakening phenomenon that occurs in the sleepers. Those the sleepers must awaken, baby. The truth will set you free. And the truth is that in Christ, in the heart, you're free. If you know the truth, you're free. You're not bound by any Levitical laws. You're made free in the death of Christ. You are the resurrection. The heart is the resurrection. It is the king in his castle, in his power. That is the resurrection and the wisdom of Christ. If you submit to some bullshit, get behind me, Satan. Look, get behind me, Satan. There. That's it. That's final. That's final.
And it's believed historically that as many as 100,000 people, largely women, were put to death because of being accused of witchcraft. That is a very heavy burden that we have all inherited. It is part of Western culture. Well, you might say, so what? That was a long time ago. But was it really? It turns out that the last person convicted of witchcraft in the Western world, to my knowledge, was Helen Duncan, who was convicted and imprisoned for witchcraft in 1944. Now, that's an unusual case, and I'll talk about it later, but
what?
Really more relevant for our discussion today are the individuals here in the United States who were put to death for witchcraft in the late 1600s, in the 7th.
Look, when I come across women that have probably been burned as witches in the past, I have a mechanism where I let them go crazy on me. Crazy on you. You want to go crazy on... They want to go crazy on me because I know that they got burnt. And subconsciously, they may not know that they were a witch who got burnt. It might just been a lady. It might have been a lady that worked with roots. It might have been some sort of fucking healer. Most of the times, they weren't in league with the devil, damn it. And I know that. You know that. Some of them don't know that. So I let them go crazy on me. Because I remember, you fucking bitch, you got burnt at the stake. You're probably still pissed about it. You have trust issues, don't we all? So I let you go crazy on me. And just sometimes women are just such a bitch. And they don't know why. And I do. Because of the work that I do in consciousness. I sacrifice this part of myself. And I've done it for a long time. And yes, these women will go. Some of them figure it out. They know it's just a mechanism to assist. an awakening process and a remembering of the self. But not all of them do. Some of them are some real assholes, you know? Real jerks. I got feelings too. I'm a person too.
17th century, prior to the establishment of the American Constitution, at a time when Massachusetts was still a colony. And I'm sure most of you have heard of the Salem witchcraft trials. Today, the word witch hunt is used a lot in a political context, and well, it should be, because Arthur Miller, a great playwright, wrote one of his